and welcome to Women in Business. Thanks for joining us today. Today we're going to be talking about educated risk and the importance of taking risk in business, because really you don't make much money if you don't take some sort of risk. They have to be educated, they have to be calculated. And Jade has a great story to illustrate the importance of that, how to be educated.
I don't know if you watched our last video. If you didn't, you should. It talks about building your network. But I gave an example in there how I met a gentleman off nextdoor.com, which is a wonderful website. It's like Facebook for your neighborhood. And I didn't know him. I had never met him before, and he was looking for investors on, I guess, a small to medium-sized scale. And I ended up investing with him. I ended up giving him quite a bit of money, and so did you.
Right.
And we didn't know him before, this investment opportunity came about. And it was a little scary for me, probably for you too.
It was nerve-wracking for me. So one of the main things I've learned being a woman in business is we're really taught to do things kind of don't stand out too much, kind of culturally, like lay low, don't take risks. I don't know, maybe men are taught that too.
Safe.
But I feel
They
like as
safety.
a woman, it's like safety, live life safe. But to make money in large sums, you really have to take a calculated risk. I don't go and just hand my money out to any stranger. I go and I talk to my accountant, I talk to friends that have invested before, I talk to my mentors, I ask them, what do you think about this? I have several women friends now that are mentors in real estate, and that took me time to build that, but that's part of taking the educated risk, that you ask around, you have your list of questions, we'll put together a list of questions for you, we'll post it on the website, but really get in touch with what's important to you and build a network of people that can help you.
Being fearful will limit you. I have so many friends and family members that have stayed in jobs for 10 or 20 years, the only job they've ever worked their whole life, that are low paying and low risk, and they've never stepped outside of those boundaries. And because of that, they've also never, taken their life or their finances to the next level. It's easy and it's comfortable, and that's fine if that works for you. But I think you're probably watching this video because you want more for yourself.
Right. You want to move it up to the next level, and to do that, you have to take some risk.
Absolutely. So, in talking about this risk here, Barb, we keep using the terms calculated and educated. Can you give an example or talk about that a little bit more so people understand what that means? And that doesn't mean I asked my mom if it was okay.
Yeah.
Well,
what I did, I have a list, an actual specific list of investment questions. I have an Excel spreadsheet that I type in how much, if I'm going to buy a property, how much do I have to put down, how much is the loan going to cost, all the costs associated, and then it spits out how much I'm going to make. So I actually look at the numbers.
And if you're not a numbers person, ask someone for help with that. Ask someone you know and trust.
Right. So if you're going to invest, but you don't want to deal with the nitty-gritty of the Excel spreadsheet, you need a good CPA, you need a good financial advisor, somebody to help you look at those numbers and say, this is a good deal. And also, you were talking about, you ask yourself, okay, I'm going to invest X lump sum. Can I live without that?
Absolutely.
If I lose that, am I going to be out on the street, or whatever your criteria is? Can I live without that?
Absolutely.
You have to answer yes to that question. You can't be taking your basic money for your basic expenses and doing anything risky with that at that point.
Absolutely.
That's where you start a savings account and you go, okay, call that my risky, my risk-taking savings.
Right.
Even if you put $1 a day in there, I don't care how much you put in there, $10, $100, it's completely up to you, but something where if you lose that, it's not going to hurt you.
Yeah, and I think that's another video that we can get into, talking about different risk levels based on where you are at in life.
Right.
Because you are married with a family and I am not. And so there are different risk levels for both of us, and different monies in different pots, retirement or, spending money that we have put aside for different things. And so I think we should address that in another video. But you know, you're absolutely right talking about that. Are you willing to lose it? Would that be the end of the world if you lost that money? And it would have hurt. I probably would have lost a little bit of sleep at night, but I wouldn't have been out on the street. I wouldn't have missed a meal. I wouldn't have, you know, some of these basic needs would all have still been met despite losing that money.
And it does boil down to, like you say, facing your fears. Yeah, if you lose X amount of money, that might be sad, but it's just like, okay, you go buy a new pair of shoes or a purse or whatever you like buying. In essence, you've lost that money in exchange for another experience.
Yeah.
So it's just about asking yourself, okay, I'm going to face my fears and exchange this money for a new experience of having residual income that really does, over time, it builds and it gives you peace of mind. So I found that the risk and the benefits are that the benefits outweigh that nervousness I feel of
Absolutely.
putting the money in. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, the risks that I've taken have allowed me to live in a way that I respect and admire and want to live.
Yeah,
So,
it's great.
yeah.
Anything else you want to say about that?
Nope. I think we'll cover some of the. Well, I'd like to do a deeper dive on the risk
Sure.
and the different levels of risk in another video, but I think this is good.
This is a wrap for today, so
Let's not bore
keep
you any
following
longer.
us for new information on
Absolutely.
risk and networking and all this great stuff about being a woman in business.
Yay, women in
We
business.
know you can do it. Have a great week. Thanks.